Hey guys, I hope everyone's having a really good week. Um, so today, actually, I had the opportunity to help facilitate a homelessness survey, um, basically just to collect some data from the individuals that I work with. Um, and it will go to the government, and hopefully, it will aid in us getting better resources and more funding for North Bay and the Nipissing region, just to get better housing, treatment facilities, have more staff that are available to the community, like release from custody staff, parole probation staff, social workers, mental health workers, things like that. So it was pretty awesome to just kind of like go chat with some of the people, and I was actually shocked that a lot of them wanted to be a part of the survey, even those that weren't necessarily homeless, which kind of sucks because we couldn't really take their feedback. Um, it also kind of sucked because if they were homeless, but they have a fixed address when they get out of jail, we can't use their information either. So that kind of sucks because if someone went 15 years being homeless in North Bay, they might have really good information and I don't know, feedback as to resources that could have benefited them. But unfortunately, we can't use that if they have an address to go to that is theirs. Um, One of the things I really noticed were a lot of the inmates were really interested in going to treatment programs or facilities. And a lot of them seem to be on like a wait list or in the process of just kind of like signing up to be on a list to potentially partake in a treatment program. So um, that kind of sucks because it just goes to show how like slow processes are here and how like we don't have a lot of resources to send these people to treatment facilities. Um, Another thing I noticed too is a lot of the homeless population talked about how it might be beneficial to have almost different housing supports for people with different challenges once they get out of jail. I know a few people had said like, like I get out of jail and then I end up in a home that houses like 50 other people that all have serious substance problems, and although I'm trying to like get myself better, I just can't because I'm surrounded by it, but I don't really have a choice. Um, so I mean, you don't want to stigmatize substance abuse, but I can kind of see where that person, where a few of those people were coming from, and that it's hard for them to get better when their addiction is around them all the time. Another thing I noticed too was oh, what was it? So there was, yeah, kind of doing different housing for different challenges. Um, and also I have a guy in who got into kind of like domestic stuff with his partner when COVID hit, and now his kids are with foster care. She's homeless and he's in jail. So he said the challenges for him getting housing when he gets out is that he doesn't have a job. Like he has a job, but he also knows that his kids have disabilities and he needs to make sure that they can get to school, which he doesn't have a car, and um, he can only stay with his family for so long. Um, but he said like, how am I supposed to find a place to live when I got to get back on track with work, make sure my kids are getting to school, um, and then I end up back in this like homelessness issue, and then I lose custody of my kids, and he's like, I don't want that. So that kind of sucks. Like he's in almost this like perpetual wheel of like issues. Like he's gonna have to try to get work. And then my other thing too was um, like I know in North Bay some of the schools have already shut down because of COVID cases. So I was chatting with him about that too. Like, well, what if your kids end up having to stay home? Like that's going to be a challenge as well. And he's like, yeah, like I can't stay home and be at school with them and also try and work. He's like, that's impossible. And then he also doesn't want to end up on disability. So there's a lot of factors in um, homelessness that I think we forget. Like everyone just thinks like, oh, they're just like druggies or whatever. But there are people that don't necessarily have substance abuse problems, but they just have there's like no light at the end of the tunnel. There's too many obstacles in their way to like get to where they need to be. So hopefully this survey will get to the government and they'll see that we need more supports. And I'm hoping that it probably won't happen overnight, but even if we can see more services available and maybe some more housing options for uh, those that are incarcerated and those that aren't incarcerated, um, I think that'll be really beneficial to their to lowering the recidivism rates and also like a almost like a rehabilitation, and hopefully we won't see a lot of them back in the institution in the future. So thanks.